Hi, welcome back to my journal journey. Today I'm setting up February in my everyday journal, which is from Ups a Daisy. It's one of the old designs, and I have to say I'm loving using it so much, and it fits so well with the colour of my media journal. For the font stencil, I've used Grow from Ups a Daisy. And if you can't work out what I'm drawing, it is National Tell a Fairy Tale Day in February. So hopefully that gives you some clue. I've really enjoyed setting up these spreads, and although I've stuck to the fairy tale theme, there's also a difference on each page. So I've used a lot of Tombow colours, and I'm just using my handy dandy little guide that I got from Joshie Corinne to help find the colours. With my little colour chart that you've just seen me pull out, I did used to have one on a notice board next to my desk. However, after placing it side by side with that colour chart, I realised that the sun had really bleached the one up on my notice board. So if you want to create a colour chart, do not leave it out where the sun can get to it, because it really does change the colour. I've gone in with 3 different Tombow colours just to add a bit of definition to the beanstalk, and I am very impressed with the way that it's turned out. I've not put any more titles or sections on this cover page. I love the way that it looks, however I might add something else in that blank space before the end of February. I'll spend a bit of time trying to decide which part of the beanstalk to colour which shade of green. I used 3 shades for all of the beanstalk, although the darkest shade is more of a background filler shade. And I tried to trace each section of the beanstalk going up. I'm going back to the original shade now, just because I knew going into it the darkest shade I wanted more for the background pieces and the sections in between. I drew this out by just doing a squiggle across the page, and then I built the beanstalk up from there and had it very wibbly wobbly so that it all looked intertwined. I'm just trying to keep the shades the same going up. And then I noticed that little bit peeking out. So onto the darkest shade, and as I say, this was just a gap filler. As you can see, I've added a little bit extra to the side, which I don't think was fine lined in, just to give it a bit more bulk. What is your favourite fairy tale? And would you enjoy a setup like this where I've done different fairy tales for each month? For each page, sorry, not month. Just the 1 month that I'm setting up. was tempted to go in and add a bit more detail to the leaves, but then at the same time I was quite happy with how this has turned out. I'm using a Tombow for Danaski just to colour in the letters for February title. This whole setup took me just under an hour to complete, but that does not include the initial sketching in, so possibly an hour and a half. What takes me a lot of time with these setups is the colouring in of the letters, and that's why I use the Fudanaski, because of the brush tip. Moving on to the next layout, I pre-drew the grid and I've added initials to the top of the calendar. I don't always do this, but this month I decided to. When looking for inspiration for these spreads, I was looking for simple pictures that I could create which would show what the fairy tale is. This one's probably the hardest one, but that's because I tried to draw the glass slipper and it just did not go well. I may use my transparent foam sticker roll to make a glass slipper to stick on top, but honestly that thought's only just come to me and I'm not that fussed about it being missed off. For the detail around the side of the cushion, I did use a silver paint marker. It was just from Colorista brand from Crafter's Companion that I got a set a few months ago, and the paint pens do come in handy. I tried to keep each of the setups to the minimal amount of colours, but I still wanted it effective, so I've used the same purple across the thread and the cushion. I did want to draw a mouse on top of the thread, but I decided that it was out of my artistic capabilities. I'm not always the best at drawing. I like to go for simple doodles with basic shapes. Just checking that my paint pen was dry when flipping over. On these two pages I've got my trusty notes page and also a goals page, so just constantly reviewing and revisiting my goals that are set at the start of the year, because one of my big issues is that I don't check in with goals often enough. For this page, again, I was limited to what I'm actually able to draw. So instead of going for the big squishy boots, I went for Puss in Boots hat with the beautiful feather on top. So to colour in the hat, I've used a shade of black and 2 shades of grey, and then I'm using one of the greys to add details to the feather, and that's just me doing lots and lots of little lines, but I'm quite happy with the way that it turned out. And I do the same on the feather that is attached to the hat as well. I was contemplating whether to do a different shade for the feathers, but with the bright colours that I'm using for this apple, I decided against it. So this apple is from Snow White, and I actually had great fun drawing it. I think it could have been a little bit longer, but I'm happy with the end result. I decided against going over it with fine liner. I was supposed to go back and add some white highlights to the green bit, but I forgot. I'll possibly do that when I start to use the spreads in February. I'm just adding a bit of length to the apple, but I was a bit stuck with how much I could add because of where I'd placed it. For the last spread of this setup, I went for an absolute classic. However, I went through all my stickers and I don't have a pig or a wolf sticker. I was shocked because I've got so many random stickers, random animals, no pigs, no wolves. But I decided to go for the 3 little pigs and their 3 houses. So I will possibly keep it to a wins, challenges and next month for these 3 sections. I was tempted to sketch in a very simple pig, but I was running out of time that I had available to set the spread up. So I've just left it as that. And now for my final flip through, my Jack and the Beanstalk, my Cinderella cushion and thread, Snow White apple, Puss in Boots hat, and my 3 little pigs. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye!